Okay, picture this because I know it's a scene that's all too familiar for so many of us. It's the middle of the night, you're completely exhausted, dead to the world, having the absolute best sleep of your life. And then, bam, out of nowhere, you are jolted awake. Not by an alarm clock, but by your cat. Maybe it's a sudden, frantic burst of running down the hallway like they're trying to qualify for the Olympics, or maybe it's just a quiet, very deliberate paw pressing right into your face. We have all been there, right? And in that groggy, sleep-deprived moment, it is incredibly easy to feel frustrated. Well, welcome to this explainer, where we're going to completely unpack the mystery of the midnight feline wake-up call.
Okay, let's dive into this. When you're staring at your cat in the pitch black of your bedroom, it's so easy to just assume that they're chaotic. You think their behavior is entirely random, completely unpredictable, or, maybe even a little bit cruel. You might literally think they are actively trying to punish you for being 5 minutes late with dinner yesterday. But what if we completely flip that script? What if every single thing your cat is doing at 3 in the morning is actually driven by pure, unadulterated logic?
So here's the scene of the crime. The house is dark, you've been asleep for just a couple of hours, and suddenly there's that paw on your face. I want you to take a deep breath because I have some really good news for you. Your cat isn't broken. There is absolutely nothing wrong with them. The reality is actually much simpler and honestly a bit humbling for us humans. You are just on the wrong schedule. You are operating on human time while they are entirely on feline time. To solve this mystery, we need to launch a proper detective investigation and look at the hard evidence. Part 1. The Biological Alibis, Clocks and Hunger. Let's kick things off with a biological term that is absolutely crucial to understanding your cat. That word is crepuscular. Being crepuscular means an animal is hardwired for peak physical activity during dawn and dusk. This isn't just some quirky habit they picked up. This is millions of years of evolution. These are the exact same low-light windows that their wild ancestors used to hunt prey. Now, sure, 3 a.m. isn't exactly dawn, but it falls right inside that natural biological alert zone. Their internal clock is just not synced to your standard 9 to 5 schedule. It never was. You essentially moved into their ancestral schedule, not the other way around. And then we have to talk about the hunger factor. Look at this number, 4 to 5. Here is what practically nobody tells you when you adopt a cat. A feline's stomach empties in roughly 4 to 5 hours, period. So let's do the math together. If you feed your cat dinner at 9 p.m. right before you go to bed, by 2 or 3 in the morning, their stomach is entirely empty. They aren't just being dramatic or acting out for attention, they are genuinely physically hungry. The system literally requires input. And this brilliantly illustrates the clash between their biology and our convenience. In the wild, cats naturally eat about 8 to 12 very small meals throughout the day as they hunt. But in our homes, we typically give them 1 or 2 large bowls of food. That feeding schedule doesn't match their biology at all. Their bodies just kind of tolerate it. So when they show up at your bedside at 3 a.m., it's really just a body doing exactly what bodies do when they run completely out of fuel. Section 2. The Environmental Gap. The Midnight Hunter. So we've got the biological alibis of clocks and hunger down. Now let's look at the stark reality of the physical space your cat actually lives in. Check out this massive number, 16. Your cat probably slept for 16 hours yesterday. Actually, scratch that. Maybe even more, depending on how lazy they were feeling. But I want you to really think about that. 16 hours of resting, basically storing up all this kinetic energy. And now, the clock strikes 3 a.m. Their crepuscular instincts kick in. They are wide awake, the entire house is completely still, and their nervous system is firing on all cylinders with absolutely nowhere to channel that energy. This brings us to a massive environmental gap. Cats in the wild would easily cover 2 to 3 miles in a single active hunting session. But your apartment? It might only be about 900 square feet. Unless they're doing parkour off your refrigerator, there is literally nowhere to put that energy. So the crucial takeaway here is this. There is a huge chasm between what their highly evolved nervous system expects to do and what their domestic environment actually provides. And guess how they fill that gap in the middle of the night? With you. You are the only interesting, dynamic thing in that dark space. Your cat isn't necessarily trying to be affectionate at 3 a.m. They are just intensely bored, and you happen to be warm, breathing, and responsive. Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds. The psychological profile, attachment, and reinforcement. Okay, we're pivoting away from physical biology and spatial environments, and we are diving straight into these surprising psychological truths about your feline friend. And honestly, this is where the science gets incredibly sweet. A super fascinating study out of Oregon State University found that cats actually form secure attachments to their owners. And not just any kind of casual attachment, we're talking about the exact same kind of secure attachment that researchers observe in human infants with their primary caregivers. That means when the house gets completely quiet, totally still, and slightly unfamiliar in the darkness of the night, some cats actually experience a genuine wave of anxiety. They are not waking you up out of cruelty. They are checking on you. They are making sure that the giant, warm being that makes them feel safe and secure in this crazy world is still there. As this beautiful quote captures so perfectly, the paw on the face isn't an attack, it's a question. Are you still here? They just need a little reassurance from their caregiver.
Now, what's really interesting about this is how we humans fit into the equation. Because let's be honest, this part is on us. Think back to the very first time your cat woke you up. You probably rolled over, maybe you got up and fed them, or you just petted them and talked to them in a soft, half-asleep voice. Well, without even realizing it, you taught them a absolutely crucial lesson. Waking you up works. It produces a result. There is no evil scheming happening here. Cats aren't manipulative the way humans can be. It is just deep, reliable pattern recognition. You responded to their needs, so they learned the pattern. And now that pattern runs on autopilot, as reliable as the sunrise.
Which brings us to Section 4, an honest love, the resolution.
So here is the real emotional payoff of our investigation today. We humans constantly call cat behavior mysterious or aloof or completely random. But when you really break it down, it's actually the most honest communication imaginable. Think about it. If they are hungry because their biology dictates it, they say so. If they feel anxious in a dark, quiet house, they reach out for comfort. If they learned a pattern where you respond to them, they simply keep asking. It's an entire inner world running purely on natural instinct, deep attachment, and learned pattern recognition. When you realize that you share your bed with a creature operating entirely on these honest signals, well, suddenly 3 a.m. feels significantly less like an inconvenience. It feels exactly like what it is. Someone who loves you, waking you up, using the absolute only language they have at their disposal. So I want to leave you with a question to ponder tonight. Armed with this completely new paradigm, understanding their biology, their totally justifiable boredom, their anxiety, and their deep attachment to you, when that 3 a.m. paw inevitably strikes tomorrow morning, how are you going to react? Will you see a chaotic nuisance? Or will you see an honest request from a creature who just wants to know you're still there?